host of the Gridiron.
All right, welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, in the description box below, the very top link takes you to my membership page. I have 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just below that, another link takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,500 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied, I promise. Well, I guess depending upon what part of the country you're in, Happy New Year. It's been 1 hour and 17 minutes. It's been a New Year here on the eastern coast, the southern Jersey here, for a little over an hour now. So I guess a couple hours from now, the rest of the country will be having a happy New Year. It was a wonderful year for me, 2024. But we're talking about the Giants here, right? So let's hope that. Oh my God. That we put 2024 behind us, and hopefully 2025 will be on to nothing but bright, sunshiny days, right? Shall we say? I mean, not much has gone right for the Giants this year, but one of the things that obviously everybody was complaining about and all, a lot of people were, obviously, of course, they want the Giants to tank, which they're not doing. They want the Giants players to tank, which they're not doing. They want Coach Dable to tank, which he's not going to do. You know what I mean? So, of course, we went from pick number 1 to pick number 4 as of right now. Things could change. Next portion of our program, we're going to go over a little bit, more in depth and detail as far as, what the Giants' chances are maybe of, maybe moving up, right? And they still have a small chance, very small chance of getting the number 1 pick. So we'll have to wait and see. But I did see this. This was one thing. One thing I do love about being in, a lot of Facebook groups is that, people do some of their own research and stuff, and they come up with comments and whatever stories, and, and I sort of, it kind of struck me down, as where it's basically kind of saying maybe the Giants not picking number 1 is not such a bad thing. And you'll notice here, you got the Lombardi trophy there. So after all, that's what you're in it for, right? To win the Lombardi, right? Not to have the best overall record or whatever, but to host the Lombardi at the end of the season. And there was a guy who went back. Now we can't go back. Can't go back to 2004, right? So we go back just to because you'll see in a second why. This guy went back to the last 20 drafts. And he's one of the members of my Facebook group. I'm sure he's with other Facebook groups as well. But I saw he posted something in my Facebook group. He said he went back the last 20 drafts. And I said, you can't go back 21 drafts. Once again, I'll show you why. And he pointed out that there have only been 4 players taken number 1 overall. Now, I said, once again, the ultimate thing is to raise the Lombardi. I mean, obviously you want the number 1 pick to make your team better, of course. if we were to take one of those quarterbacks and they'll make us a much better team, sign me up for that and all. But ultimately, the thing is to hoist that Lombardi at the end of the season. And the person here who came up, had this comment, said he went back, obviously, the last 20 drafts, and he pointed out there was only 4 in the past 20 drafts, 4 players that went to the Super Bowl, and only 2 of them actually won a Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's like, that's okay. All right, that's something. I said we're there to win the Lombardi. Now he went over. Let's see here. I forgot all about Eric Fisher. Forgot all about him. But he went to the with the Chiefs. He was a part of their team that won the first Super Bowl. Their first. Well, I'm sorry, their second Super Bowl. Their first in this new. I mean, the first Super Bowl they won was back after the '69 season. It was the Super Bowl 4. They beat the Vikings 23-7. But this latest wave of Super Bowls that the Chiefs are on, right? So he was part of that. He was also part of the other the second Chiefs team that went and lost in the next Super Bowl. It was to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. That was the year that Patrick just goes to show you. You got injuries, show you, right? How it really hinders your chances of winning a Super Bowl. Now, his offensive line was pretty. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Bucs were a very good team. They had Brady and all of that. But, I mean, when you go a whole Super Bowl and force the Chiefs not even to score a touchdown, that's pretty impressive. So, I mean, the Chiefs' offensive line was a little banged up. And, so obviously they lost there. But Eric Fisher was one of those. So let me read. I can pull this. Here we go. There we go. Guy says, of course, this one's to some people it's still not going to matter much at all. But guy says, I know this isn't going to make a lot of you feel better, but because obviously some people are just totally pissed off at the Giants. How could they actually think about winning a football game? So some Giants are just totally beside themselves, right? But I went back and checked out the number 1 draft picks and found something pretty peculiar. Right? The most recent number 1 draft pick that helped this team win a Super Bowl was Kansas City Chiefs lineman Eric Fisher, who was drafted in 2013. Now Fisher, he got injured. I think he might have actually been one of those guys that was injured in the in that Super Bowl that Patrick Mahomes was like running for his life for, because they had a couple guys were injured. Let's see. In 2019, Fisher was limited to just 8 games due to injuries. Fisher and the Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl, their first championship in 50 years. He joined Clark Hunt and Andy Reid in accepting the Vince Lombardi Trophy on behalf of the team. Let's see. This goes to show you, right? Fisher was considered one of the top offensive linemen available in the 2013 NFL Draft. He was selected by the Chiefs with the first overall pick, becoming the first MAC player to be drafted number 1 overall. Fisher is one of 2 Central Michigan players to be selected in the first round of the NFL Draft. The other is Joe Staley. So he was drafted number 1 in the 2013 draft. Now his career. Now he's not been part of this latest wave, unfortunately for him, as far as Super Bowl winners. On January 21st, 2021. So this is the 2020 season, right? Against the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game, Fisher suffered a torn Achilles, forcing him to miss the Super Bowl, right? He was placed on injured reserve on February 6th. The Chiefs would go on to lose 31-9 to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Fisher was released after 8 seasons on March 11, 2021. So he played for the Chiefs from 2013 to 2020. Now, he was one of the reasons why, he tore in the championship game. He tore his Achilles one of the big reasons why Patrick Mahomes was just kind of seemed like running for his life the whole game, a good portion of the game against the Buccaneers. So the fact that the Chiefs lost their starting tackle, right, was huge in that Super Bowl. It was a big loss. Then he signed a 1-year deal with the Colts in 2021. And on December 5th, 2022, the Miami Dolphins signed Fisher to their active roster. On January 6th, 2023, Fisher was placed on injury reserve despite being inactive for every game. So his career's over with. But he did win a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. He helped them win a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. All right, so we got let's see. Then, of course, the most recent quarterback taken number 1. Now, here we go. All right. That helped his team win a Super Bowl is Matthew Stafford, drafted in 2009. Of course, the team he won the Lombardi with isn't the one that drafted him. Right? As a matter of fact, the last 20 years, the last 20 number 1 picks, only 4 of them played in the Super Bowl. The 2 previously mentioned, plus Joe Burrow and Cam Newton. Now, obviously, those are the Burrow and Cam went to the Super Bowl with the teams that drafted him. The reason why I didn't want to go back, or this guy didn't go back, I guess, 21 years, was because the number 1 overall pick was, of course, Eli Manning. And, of course, he won 2 Super Bowls. But now with the team that drafted him now, right? So, basically, if you want to look at it, if you go back to last, let's see. I mean, let's see. Let's go back here. Okay. Let's see. Can I open this up here? Okay, good. All right, 26. Carson. David Carr. My God. I mean, I'm okay. There you go. You gotta go back to the last. You got to go back to the 1998 NFL draft, right? As far as I'm seeing here, right? 1998. So you got to go back over 25 years ago before a quarterback was taken number 1 in the draft and took that team to the Super Bowl where they won it. All right, so let's go over this here, because let's not forget, Eli was taken number 1 and he won 2 Super Bowls, but not by the team that drafted him, right? Because the Chargers drafted him. It was that that draft night trade, obviously that swapped him and the Giants, right? But the Giants did not draft him number 1 overall. So let's 1998, right? Peyton Manning was the last quarterback drafted number 1 and took his own team that drafted him in 2006. Remember, it was the Manning, right? 2006, you had Peyton Manning. The Colts beat the Bears. I can't remember, 31-16 or something like that. It was in the rain. Of course, Devin Hester took the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. I guess the rest of the game, I'm still even shaking my head how the Bears even got to the Super Bowl. I know they had a good defense, but I'm kind of like, their offense was not super spectacular. But in 2006, Peyton Manning took the Colts to the Super Bowl where they wound up winning. Of course, and Peyton won another one, but was with the Broncos, right? Who did draft him? So 1998. So let's just do the counting, right? All right, so 1999 draft, Tim Couch. Yeah, okay. So we'll move on. And of course, the Browns had back-to-back number 1 picks. 1999 had Tim Couch, then they took Courtney Brown, right? No quarterback there. Now, now don't get me wrong. We got some good players here, really good players that were taken number 1 overall. So without question. So I'm certainly not saying, I don't have enough info on Ward or Sanders to say that they're going to be that good or that bad, whatever. But what I do know, what I've been hearing, is that there's no Peyton Manning coming out. There's no Andrew Luck coming out in this draft. There's no draft this guy, and this guy is your quarterback guaranteed for the next 15. There's none of that. That's all I hear, right? But so there are some really good players, obviously, taking number one overall. There's also oh my God. Right? Maybe not at the time when he got drafted, but shortly after that, it was like, oh my God. I mean, this guy just straight up went in with a gun and just held his team up and just took them for every penny they had. I mean, oh my God. What anyway. So let's see. So we got 2001, obviously, Michael Vick with the Falcons. I mean, what can't you say about that guy? Phenomenal, unbelievable talent, right? Then the Texans took David Carr. Unfortunately, the guy wound up with getting sacked 13,000 times in his career. 2003, Carson Palmer, very good quarterback, right? Of course, then 2004, Eli Manning, but was drafted by the San Diego Chargers, right? Went to 2 Super Bowls, won them both, but not with the Chargers, right? Then, of course, you got Alex Smith, not a bad quarterback. Mario Williams in 2006 with the Texans. Then you got Mr. I'm going to hold you up and take you for all the money you got. Jamarcus Russell, remember that? Oh man, good pick there. Might have been a good pick, yeah. Quarterback, but yeah. Let's see. And then 2008, the Dolphins took Jake Long. 2009, Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl, right? But not with the quarterback, not with the team that drafted him, right? Then 2010, Sam Bradford with the Rams took Sam Bradford. It wasn't a bad quarterback. Guy got injured a lot. If you could bubble wrap the guy, okay, he was not a bad quarterback. But I remember he had a lot of injuries. Then 2011, Kyle, right? Ta-da! Right? Went to a Super Bowl, didn't win it, right? But he did go to a Super Bowl, right? Let's see. Then you have one of the guys that a lot of people refer to is when you're talking about quarterbacks coming out. They talk about obviously Peyton Manning. Then they talk about Andrew Luck, right? When he came out, it was kind of like draft this guy. This guy's can't miss. You don't hear that very often, right? But unfortunately, as he got just totally decimated by injuries. It was such a shame they couldn't protect the guy. The guy was always getting beaten up. Reminded me a lot of Burt Jones. I mean, man, guy could throw. Burt Jones from LSU could throw a ball through a car wash and it would come out the other side dry. I mean, what an arm talent the guy had. Guts, would run, try to run over, through, and around anybody. But he got injured. Always was getting injured. Always. But same thing with Andrew Luck. I mean, a lot of it was, he may be running, but he would get injured so much. And after a while, it was just, it wasn't fun for him anymore. It's just a shame. But, it's like you go through all of this stuff and everything, and you're rehabbing from an injury and, all these long days. And then, you're going to go out there the next season and you're going to get pummeled and something else is going to go wrong. You're going to have to go through all this. And it just wasn't fun for him. I understand. I totally understand that. Right? So unfortunately, if he actually had a nice team around him, or they could block for him or protect the guy, right? I mean, he'd still be playing, right? Possibly, because 2012 draft. If he was, if he wasn't getting pummeled to death, he quite possibly might still be playing. Then we have 2013. We got Eric Fisher. Right? Okay. Then you got 2014 Jadeveon Clowney, fantastic athlete. He got injured too, but then of course Jameis Winston, 2015. Now Jameis, I'll tell you what, Jameis can do he can go from a 1 to a 10. He can throw you in a game. He can throw touchdowns and yards and everything. He can also do a 1. He can also throw you out of a game. He can throw 5 interceptions. Anywhere in between. You know what I mean? But dude certainly has some talents, but he, once again, hasn't gone to a Super Bowl, right? Let's see. 2016. Now, that's one here. Well, kind of still up in the air as of right now, Mr. Goff, right? But not by the team that drafted him, right? It was the Los Angeles Rams that drafted him, right? Now, possibility, the Lions maybe go to the Super Bowl. Now, if the Lions don't, it's because they have a little bit of New York Giants mixed in there with them, meaning they're decimated by injuries. The football gods above may not allow the Detroit Lions. They allow other teams to stay healthy, like the Eagles, and have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. For some reason, whatever the football gods above said, we'll give you a good offense, but we're just going to totally annihilate your defense. You're going to have to beat everybody 912 to 910. That's how if you're going to win, God bless you. Right? So unfortunately, the Lions have not been lucky as where the Eagles have been lucky because they've been relatively healthy all season long. But I said the Lions don't make it is because their defense has just been totally decimated by injuries. Right? They got the offense, but I mean, Goff might be a new one on this list here that goes to a Super Bowl. But once again, maybe goes to a Super Bowl. I'm not sure about winning it, but going to a Super Bowl. But once again, if he does go to a Super Bowl, pick number one, but it's not by the team that drafted him. All right, Myles Garrett. What can't you say about that? Oh my God, what a freak of nature that guy is. Unfortunately for him, he's been on the Cleveland Browns, right? And we know how the Cleveland Browns have been going. Of course, then the next year they had back-to-back number one picks. They took Baker Mayfield, and good for Baker. He's off the Browns. And Baker's shown that he can be a very, very good quarterback elsewhere, as he is right now with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good for you, Baker. Where'd he go? Then we got 2019, the infamous 2019 draft. Kyler Murray. Obviously he hasn't gone anywhere with the Cardinals. Then we got 2020, Joe Burrow, okay, who is the latest one, the last one on this list to actually go to a Super Bowl, right, with the team that drafted him, right? But they didn't win. Eli Apple led up the game-winning touchdown pass, and I couldn't be happier for Eli. Good way to go, Eli. You piece of trash. And of course, 2021, Trevor Lawrence. Right, if they can ever build an offense around him or a team around him, he might have a chance to go to a Super Bowl, maybe someday. Unfortunately, right now he's, in the same conference with Patrick Mahomes and some of these other really good quarterbacks, so he has his work cut out for him. And of course, Jacksonville, they had back-to-back number one picks. They took Javon Walker in the 2022 draft. Then you took the Panthers took Bryce Young in the 2023 draft, and I'm not sure if the Panthers are going to be going to the Super Bowl anytime soon. And of course, the Bears with Caleb Williams this past season. All right, he got taken. So, I mean, so you can see by that list, right, that, there's not many, right, who, when I said actually, so there's only one player on that list, right, that won a Super Bowl with the team that drafted Eric Fisher, and it's not even a quarterback, right? You look at what we got: Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, Newton. The three quarterbacks that went to Super Bowl, even the one that won the Super Bowl, did not win it with the team that drafted him. So, you have to go back to 1998, right, before a quarterback was taken number one overall in the draft and took that team to a Super Bowl and won. So, right, so it may not be such a bad thing after all that the Giants are not picking number one, right? Quite possibly. And the thing is if you look at it, right, Peyton Manning coming out was so much more highly regarded than these other guys are. Right, as far as take this guy and you got a good chance of this guy being your quarterback for the night. I mean, Said these guys, Ward and Milrow and Sanders and whoever else, they all got huge. A lot of them got question marks. All got question marks, shall I say? Yeah, Peyton didn't have many, if any. Right? So it may not be such a bad thing after all. But it leads me to this. So if you're still a little pissed off, right, the Giants still have an outside shot at the number 1 overall pick. So you're telling me we still got a chance. Yeah, it's not a big one, but the Giants still have a chance. Now, the one thing is because you're not exactly sure what's going to happen. Obviously, the Giants are going in there with all the zest, right, and go in there and all intentions upon winning this football game, as we saw, past weekend. You play to win the game. Hello, right, as Herm Edwards said. So the Giants are going to try their darndest. You're not sure what Nick Sirianni's going to do. Does he want to play his starters for half the game? Play his backups for the second half of the game? Does he want to play his starters, especially maybe on offense, until it takes Saquon to break the rushing record? It might take him early into the third quarter, might take him the first half, might take him a quarter and whatever, and then pull his starters, most of his starters on offense, put the backups in. Is he going to put his starters in the whole time? Maybe pull them out in the fourth quarter. He's going to put his backups in there, most of his backups in there, the whole game. You don't know. You're not sure what he's going to do. As far as I know, I don't know if anybody knows. I'm sure maybe he knows, but he obviously is. A lot of coaches do or don't do what. They don't release. I don't know. We'll think about it. I'll leave it out there. I'm not sure what we're going to. So, right. So maybe we don't know. We'll find out Sunday. I believe 1 o'clock, right, when it happens. But as of right now, you're not exactly sure what the Eagles are going to do. As I said, I could see a lot of scenarios. Now, with the Eagles, right, they're locked in at the number 2. They can't go up or they can't go down. So if they win this game, it's not going to help them. If they lose this game, it's not going to hurt them either way. Now, of course, a lot of it also has to do with, what's going on inside the mind of the coaches. And I can't stand Sirianni. Absolutely can't stand that. Worthless piece of human trash to me. I don't respect him as a coach or a player, or a coach or a person, nothing. But, a lot of it depends upon what his beliefs are. Because, there's a lot of them, it's like, well, just rest your guys. It's been a long season. 16 freaking games. Jalen Hurts is coming back from a concussion, right? Right, a lot of the guys, everyone on that Eagle team, whether they have an injury designation or not, I'm sure they got a little nick or something here or there. And a week, because guaranteed they're hosting a playoff game the following week. Stone cold lock guarantee. They can't get number 1. That's the that's the battle between, you're not sure between the Lions and the Vikings who's going to win that. That's the final Sunday night game, I guess it is, of the season. And it couldn't be a better one. Winner takes all. Whoa. That's pretty freaking awesome, huh? As I said, so you don't know what's in, rest the guys. Right? Give them a week off. But sometimes some coaches are like, you give them a week off, they get a little rusty. And then the problem is with the playoffs, it's all or nothing. If you're on a bye week halfway through the season or whatever, it doesn't matter. And sometimes, you come back maybe a little rusty because, you were in a groove, right? Playing every week and all that. You take a week off and you come back a little rusty. Well, if you come back a little rusty and you lose the regular season game, there's always another game, right? There's always another game, guaranteed. After a bye week game, there's always another game. And you don't have a bye week. In week 17 and week 18 is your final. And no, that's not the way it works. There's always another game after that. Obviously, if you lose, it could hurt your record, but there's always another game. It ain't like that in the playoffs. You come into the playoffs rusty, right? You rest your players and you're rusty, right? And you lose. Bye-bye. We'll see you next year. So So you have to wait and see. The problem is, of course, is that you're going to be crucified to the cross if you put your starting players in there and the guy gets hurt and he can't play. He's out for the rest of the season, or if he misses the playoff game or next week or whatever, you're going to be crucified. What are you doing? Are you that stupid? Of course, that's the way the media goes, right? So there's, it's up to the coach. So we're not exactly sure what Nick Sirianni is going to wind up doing. But we do know the Giants are going to go in there and try to win the football game. But, this is kind of the Patriots. Now the Patriots, obviously, I'm guessing, right? The Giants would have to lose, and the other three teams, I guess, on top of the Giants would have to win. I guess so. I'm guessing the Giants can't wind up tied with any of the other teams, right? They can't wind up tied with the Browns, the Titans, or the Patriots. If the Browns, the Titans, or the Patriots, wind up with the same amount of wins with the Giants, those teams will get the number one pick. Because with the Giants' strength of schedule being as high as it is, the Giants would always be behind one of those teams in the draft order if they wind up with the same amount of wins. So the Patriots have to play the Bills. Now the thing is, sometimes it's so weird how they do this. The Patriots just played the Bills a couple weeks ago in Buffalo. Now they're playing them again. This could be. Who knows? They could be battling for Mayo's job. Who knows? But when they play that, it just goes to show you any given Sunday. 2 weeks ago in Buffalo, they went toe to toe with the Bills. The Bills had to recover. I think it was a lateral. Was it maybe in the end zone? I think it was, and score a touchdown. They won 24. They beat the Patriots, the lowly Patriots in Buffalo, 24-21. Then, of course, the next week, the Patriots go home and they lose 812-7 to the Chargers. So it goes to show you any given week, anything can happen. But the Patriots, when they played Buffalo in Buffalo a couple weeks ago, they played them. They went toe to toe with them. Barely lost the game. So, who knows? I think the Bills are locked in as the number 2 seed. Yeah, they're locked in because they have obviously the Chiefs are number 1. They only have 1 loss. The Bills have 3 losses. Even if the Bills were losers and 4 losses, the Bills are still the number 2 seed. So you're not sure, right? You're not sure what the Bills are going to do. The Bills guaranteed the following week have a game. What are they going to do? What's McDermott going to do? Is he going to rest his players? Play them half the game? Put the backups in the rest? You don't know. Well, once again, it's the same thing with Sirianni. We'll have to wait and see. But the Eagles don't need this game. The Bills do not need this game. The Patriots are going to go in and try to win the game. The Giants are going to try to go in and win the game. So anything can happen, right? Because if the Patriots can play as tough against Buffalo as they did 2 weeks ago, they might have themselves a ball game here. I'm not saying the Patriots are, but if they play Buffalo as tough as they did 2 weeks ago, maybe they have a shot at winning this one. Who knows, right? Whereas then you got the Titans playing the Texans. Now here, the Texans, they are the number 4 seed as of right now. And they will be the number 4 seed. Let's see here. Yeah. Same thing here. The Texans are guaranteed to be number 4 seed if they won their division. And the Colts lost, knocked them out of the playoffs. So the Texans won their division. If they win this game or they lose this game, they're stuck at the number 4 seed because they're the number 4th ranked division winner, right? Because the Ravens have 5 losses. So if the Ravens lose, they would still have 6 losses, which is still better than the Texans having 7, right? 7 losses. I said the Bills have 3 losses and the Chiefs have 1. So the Texans are locked in at the number 4 seed. They're not going to be a wild card. They won their division. They're number 4. They can't go up or down. So once again, right? The Titans are going into that game. Now wait, did I say? Okay, the Titans are playing home against the Texans. Titans are playing home, okay, against the Texans. Texans don't need the game. Same thing there. What do? Do they start their players? Do they rest their players? Do they put them in for half a game, put the backups in for the other half? It all depends on what the coach thinks best for that team. You don't know. We don't know. We'll have to find out. But the Texans, once again, do not need that game. There's a possibility they might put their backups in there. Let the backups gain some, right? But the Titans are playing their starters, and they're playing at home, and they're going to play to win the game. So there's a chance the Titans win that game. Who knows, right? I think the one wild card here, okay, is we got the problem. We got the Browns at the Ravens. Now it's the same thing here. The Ravens are locked in at the number 3. They don't need the game because even if I think. Let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure. 10-6. So let me see. Oh, okay, no. My bad. The Ravens do need this game. If they win or tie, they win the division. Pittsburgh has to, or if Pittsburgh loses or ties. So Baltimore is going to want to win this game. Baltimore is in the playoffs, but Baltimore is going to want to win the game. So Baltimore's at home playing Cleveland, who sucks. So that's the biggest obstacle that the Giants have, as far as somehow miraculously jumping up to the number 1 pick overall. Because the Ravens, no matter what, they win or lose or tie or whatever, they're in the playoffs, but they want to win the division, so they have at least one home game, right? If the Steelers were to obviously make the playoffs and they don't, there'll be a wild card. They're in the playoffs, but there'll be a wild card team, right? So you want to win the division. So that's the biggest obstacle that the Giants have as far as getting the number 1 overall pick. The Giants could certainly lose to the Eagles, which would still give the Giants 3 wins. Now, once again, any given Sunday, anything's possible. The Patriots are playing at home against the Bills. The Bills don't need this game. If they rest their starters, and if the Patriots play as well against the Bills as they did 2 weeks ago, and the Bills put their backups in, maybe the Patriots win the game. So maybe the Giants jump ahead of the Patriots, right? The Texans don't need the game. The game is being played in Tennessee. Tennessee is going to play to win the game, right? Maybe the Texans put their backups in there. Doesn't hurt or help Texans' playoff implications at all by winning or losing. They're not going to jump up or down. They're locked in. So if they put their backups in, Tennessee's at home. Tennessee's going to play to win the game. Maybe Tennessee wins. Right? Maybe the Giants lose. Maybe the Giants can jump in front of Tennessee. The biggest obstacle would wind up being that Cleveland game. I wasn't sure if I knew the Ravens were in the playoffs, but I thought maybe they had the division locked up, which they did not. If they lose, the Ravens lose, the Steelers win, the Steelers beat the Bengals, and the Ravens lose to the Browns, the Steelers win the division. So it's a big, big, big game for the Ravens. So that's the biggest obstacle. I mean, as far as the Giants getting to the number 1, I'd have a hard time believing. The game's played in Baltimore. Right? The Cleveland's not been very good. And the Ravens are, they've been on a roll and really putting up some points. I'd have a hard time saying that the Browns trying to match them point for point and all that and everything. So that's the biggest obstacle. But the Giants do have a small sliver of a chance. Let's see. I thought I saw. Let's see here. Oh, according to PFN's playoff predictor, gave the Giants a 42.5% chance at the first pick a week ago. And the Patriots had a 15% chance a week ago of getting the number one overall pick. Well, after last week, things flip-flopped, right? So the Giants have a very small chance, very, very small chance of, getting the number one overall pick. But it's still possible. Still possible. Anything's possible. But you got to remember, you're hoping for all these teams ahead of the Giants that only have 3 wins to win. And the reason why they only have 3 wins, just like the Giants, is because they stink. So the Giants still have a small sliver of a chance getting the number one overall pick. All right, but we do know, I think, except for one of the games, we kind of know, I think, all of the Giants' schedule for the following season, the upcoming season. Of course, you don't know. You're not going to know until, I guess, whatever it is, in April, I believe it is, when they come out with the schedule, right? And everybody, goes out there and they look, okay, the Giants, I think the Giants will be 6-11. I think that some people will be, I think the Giants are 13-4. I think we might go all in there. People drinking the Kool-Aid. But we do know, right, what the Giants' schedule is. Let's see, is it? Playoff. Okay, here we go. All right. Giants turning heads with the brutal opponents of 2025. Shocker there, right? Giants know all but 2 of their 2025 opponents, and their schedule looks to be stocked with a brutal slate of strong quarterbacks. Simply amazing, isn't it? You know what I find just to be an absolute freaking joke? It's just unbelievable. Because I just can't stand the Eagles. If you look at their strength of schedule, it's a joke. I think they have they might have the second easiest strength of schedule. A lot of that's got to do because they're playing the Giants and they're playing the Cowboys. You know what I mean? Because they're horrible teams. But I mean, it is just freaking amazing. Absolutely freaking amazing. How a playoff team from the year before winds up having the almost the easiest schedule. It is amazing how they almost the easiest schedule in the NFL. It's unbelievable. Absolutely, this year it's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. But of course, the Giants coming off a horrible season and have another brutal season as far as quarterbacks and all that. Right? So after a 45-33 win over the Colts, the Giants tank to the top of the 2023 NFL draft has been temporarily postponed with the opportunity to lose to the Eagles in Week 18. All hope is not lost, but what was once a certainty has become unknown, and there's a chance that New York waits until the 2026 for a first-round rookie passer, which is quite possible. If that's the case, then fans will once again get the opportunity to root for their team to lose, potentially for the rights to draft Archie Manning. Ooh. The fantasized heir of New York's quarterbacking throne. If a tank is once again in the cards, the Giants' schedule will likely help them out. New York doesn't know when it will be playing each of its games next season, but most of the 2025 schedule is locked in. The Giants will, of course, play each divisional rival twice, obviously, right? They'll also play the entirety of the AFC West. Now, except for the Raiders, right? If you're looking at the entire the AFC West, look at the Broncos, look at the Chargers. Then there's, of course, in there by the name of the Chiefs, right? 3 really good teams in there, right? Peyton's done a fantastic job with the Broncos. Harbaugh has done a great job. Took a 5-win team, Chargers, last year, and that'll get double-digit wins, right? All right, let's see. And they'll play the NFC North, right? Of course. And now, of course, then the NFC North has 3 teams going to the playoffs, right? So we're going to play the division that has 3 that have 3 10-win teams. Let me see here. All right, we got. No, the Broncos are 9-7. Who did the Broncos play here? Does this set tell me here? Broncos play the Chiefs at home though, so that's gonna be a tough one. But my thing was obviously the Chiefs only have 1 loss. The Chargers have 10 wins. The Broncos are 9-7. I was going to say, it's like, who are they playing? But they're playing at home, though, against the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't need that game. They're locked in. What's Andy Reid do? That's a big one there. What does Andy Reid do? Does he want to put his players in there, Patrick Mahomes, and possibly get him injured? Or does he want to rest Mahomes? And then they get a bye week. And then they got to play. So, does he want to take some of his starters and keep them out for like 3 weeks before they got to play a game? Ooh, I don't know. That's a big, big decision. Of course, once again, if Andy Reid puts his starters in there and Patrick Mahomes or somebody gets injured, there goes their Super Bowl chances, right? So, as of right now, they got to be looking at Super Bowl favorites once again for the 1300th season in a row. So what does Andy Reid do? But I'm saying, the Giants could be playing that division, right? So, they're going to be playing with if the Broncos win. You don't know. I said the Broncos are going to want to win that game. The Chiefs don't need the game, so who knows? So if the Broncos were to win, they would have 10 wins. The Chargers have at least 10 wins. The Chiefs, so it's like, once again, it's like, these divisions that the Giants play are just like, not doing any favors here. Who also plays the last place team in the NFC South and the NFC West and the AFC East. So that, of course, let's see. Let's see. So, okay, so they're either going to play the Jets, who have 4 wins, or the Patriots, who have 3 wins. So, so we'll be playing against them. Right. Next season, the Giants only play 8 games at home. They play 9 games on the road. The thing is, is that one of those road games is against the Jets. Now, if they do one, if for whatever reason, if the Jets were to lose and have 4 wins, I guess if the Patriots were somehow to beat the Bills and have 4 wins, I guess the Jets would wind up being in last place, I guess. So the Giants might have to play the Jets. And obviously, they both play at MetLife Stadium. The Giants would be the road team, but still, that's in their home. Right? So, but the Giants do have only eight home games next season. But as we saw this season, it doesn't matter. They had 9 home games this season. It didn't matter. We went 1-8. All right. So at home next season, right? Of course, we're playing the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Eagles. Then at home, we're playing the Chiefs. I'm sure that'll sell out probably pretty well. We're playing the Chargers at home. We're playing the Packers, and we're playing the Vikings. Whew. We're also playing at home either the Cardinals or the 49ers, whoever finishes in last place there. Now, let me see here. Does this have... Ooh, okay. Let's see. So, all right. So, the 49ers are finishing up against the Cardinals. Okay. In St. Louis. So now the thing is with this, I'm still scratching my head how the 49ers went from going to the Super Bowl to finishing 4th. Purdy, I think, is out too. So, so the Giants are going to be wanting to playing against the 49ers, who, if they can get healthy next season, could maybe quite possibly rebound and be a force once again. So the Giants might quite possibly wind up playing the best team in the NFC West next year. And they finished 4th. It's unbelievable. It really, really is unbelievable. So if the Cardinals win, it's in the Cardinals are the home team. If the 49ers wind up losing, the 49ers will be in last place, and the Giants will wind up playing the 49ers next year. As I said, 49ers, as long as they keep their players, I'm not sure if they're going to lose any of the players or not, but the 49ers could be a really good team next year. So once again, I know they had a bunch of injuries this year, which really hurt them, but it's kind of mind-boggling how they went to the Super Bowl last year, and this year they're not even close to a winning record. rather mind-boggling. So the Giants next season at home are going to play the Cowboys, the Eagles, Commanders, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Packers, the Vikings, and quite possibly the 49ers who went to the Super Bowl last year. It's like, right? I mean, so the Giants at home next season got to play the Eagles, who had a winning record, the Commanders, who had a winning record, the Chiefs, who had a winning record, the Chargers, who had a winning record, the Packers, who had a winning record, the Vikings, who had a winning record, and the 49ers, who went to the Super Bowl last year. Those are the seven out of the 8 games. And then, of course, then we're playing the Cowboys. And, the Cowboys, almost every year seem to have a good team. Every 3 or 4 years, they seem to plummet a little bit, but then they just seem like they rebound. So that's what the Giants got to play next year at home next year. And it doesn't matter. The Cowboys can go winless, and they still beat the Giants at home. So that's the 8 games the Giants have to play at home next season. Absolutely unbelievable. I don't even know if the Giants will win a game at home next season. It's unbelievable. But on the road, the Giants, okay, it's not much better. They obviously got the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Commanders. Got to play the Broncos, the Raiders, the Lions, and the Bears, right? The Lions. Whew. Then you have to play the Saints or the Panthers, whoever winds up in 4th place in the NFC South. And then you have to play the Jets or the Patriots, whoever winds up in 4th place there. So, I said it could be the Jets only have 4 wins. If they wind up losing, they have 4 wins. And if the Patriots somehow beat the Bills, the Patriots have 4 wins. And then I guess the Jets will wind up in last place. And the Giants might have to play a road game against the Jets at MetLife Stadium, which would be beneficial. But regardless, if they have to play the Patriots don't seem like they're all of that. But they have to play the Saints or the Panthers on the road next season. So, the Bears had a losing record. These are the teams they got to play on the road at least. Cowboys had a losing record. The Raiders had a losing record. The Bears had a losing record. And the other 2 teams they got to play have a losing record. So the teams are playing on the road next season have a far worse record than the teams are playing. The teams are playing home next season is brutal. Giants going to be hard pressed to find many wins at all at home next. It's going to be almost the same thing. I can almost say, unless a miracle happens somehow, the Giants make a huge turnaround and start winning football games. The Giants going to have a hard time next season at home trying to win some football games. So it's a tough schedule. Very, very tough schedule. Once again, I said you got possibly we're playing against the 2 divisions next season that might be sending 3 teams to the playoffs. Right? They got the Broncos, quite possibly the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. Right? Then you got the Packers, you got the Vikings, and you got the Lions. Now obviously, of course, that because those 6 teams may or may not make the playoffs it doesn't mean they're making it. There's always turnover. Right? Things always change. I said, look at the 49ers. Last year, the 49ers were this close to winning the Super Bowl. Went to overtime. This close to winning the Super Bowl. Right? And this year, they may not even wind up with 7 wins this year. They might wind up with 6 wins somehow. So once again, because they got banged up by injuries. Injuries really hurt them once again. The 49ers got pretty much banged up. The Lions defense was annihilated by injuries. But once again, the Eagles, once again, are lucky because they have a lot of health. So they're lucky. Very, very lucky. So the football god said, let's give the Eagles a shot. Let's kill off all these other teams with all their injuries. And let's give the Eagles a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I can't stand the Eagles. Absolutely can't stand the Eagles. But let me do this here. Real fast, we'll go to our portion of the program this week where I go over the team grades after the Giants' Week 17 win over the Indianapolis Colts. So let's go over the team grades real fast here. And once again, it's nothing super special. The Giants, not much love here for the Giants. All right, let me share my screen. Go to the team grades here. And once I got 37,000 tabs open up here. So, okay, so let's go to the teams here. Okay, so now we got, all right, Now the Lions are number one here with the team grades. Right? The Eagles are number two, so the Giants overall team grade. We're number 29, 68.4, according to PFF. Offensive grades. Ravens number one, 90.2. Giants offensive grade, number 29, 64.9. Passing grade. Bengals, yeah, with Higgins and Burrow and Jamar Chase. I'll tell you what, they lose that. They should hopefully. They need a defense, the Bengals, but they're going to miss Higgins if he doesn't re-sign and being a free agent. They're going to miss him. All right, so we got the Bengals at number one, the Giants. Let's see here. Passing grade, we're all the way down to number 30, 58.4. We had all those touchdown passes and we're still number 30 overall. All right. Pass blocking. Something the Giants could use, right? Some good pass blocking. The Broncos are number one at 83. Giants are number 27. 58.1 overall. All right. Receiving grade. The Lions, number one, 88.5. The Ravens are number two at 88.4. All right, let's see. So receiving grade, where are the Giants at receiving grade? Number 27, 67.4 is our receiving grade. Running grade. Ravens are number one, 93.1. All right, so the Giants, number 23, 74.9. It's weird because, the Giants did not do very well running the ball last week. Did not do very well running the ball. But run blocking, the 49ers number one, 81.6. And we got Giants number 23, 60.1 is their run blocking. All right, let's go to the defensive side here. The Eagles, 90.0, by far the best defensive grade. Look at it. The next one is the Chiefs in the 80. Eagles, 90. All right, we got 21. The Giants are number 21, 65.4. Run defense. The Browns, number one, 85.2. And the Giants are, where are we at here? Giants are 62.1, number 23 overall with the run defense. Our tackling, which has been abysmal all season long. The Lions are number 171.8. The Giants are number 19, 46. Look at these pathetic tackling grades. The Dolphins, 29.4. How do you expect to win any games if you can't tackle? It's just amazing. Some of these grades, tackling, is just atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Pass rush. That is one that the Giants do well in. The Steelers are number one, 90.4. For the Giants, 74.5. All right. We got coverage. The Eagles are number one with a 92. Once again, the Eagles have been lucky because their secondary is relatively healthy, unlike the Giants have been decimated by injuries in our secondary. Once again, the Eagles are lucky, which helps to their good coverage grade. But the Giants are number 30. 52.3 is our coverage grade. All right, special teams. All right, the Bengals, 90.7. The Patriots are 90.4. The Broncos are at 90. And who else? The Browns are at 90. So you got four teams with a special teams grade of a 90. But the Giants, let's see here, 23, 76.5. So once again, the Giants, their pass rush has pretty much been their best grade all season long. And once again, it was the same thing there. They've been pretty much in the top 10 pretty much all season long as far as their grade, according to PFF. That's all I'm going by. But I mean, really, what else? What else could be up in the top 10 for the Giants? Right? Not their blocking, not their tackling, right? Um, so, I mean, once again, no, not much love for the New York Football Giants as far as team grades. But then again, when you're 3-13, what else do you expect, right? So, let's go to the offensive side, right? Let's go to the offensive grades for the Giants' Week 17 win over the Indianapolis Colts. Let's see who graded out here. Right, who was naughty and who was nice. All right, so let me once again share screen. All right, now we'll go to. All right, we'll find the Giants here. Go to the Giants and we'll pick out the game. Here we go. Game reports. Go to the offense. All right, good old Malik, huh? Not hard to argue there, right? Wandell Malik had 2 phenomenal games, right? Of course, Drew Lock. Chris Manhertz had another good game, 81.6. He had, let's see, he had 84 against Atlanta. So he had 2 back-to-back really good games. He had a 93. He's also had some subpar ones in there. But once again, I mean, he gets a 48, but he only played in 15 snaps. I mean, you get a 46, he plays in 27 snaps. You know what I mean? 19 snaps. So he only plays so much. But this is his second back-to-back game. He's had, according to PFF, he's had some good grades. But I mean, we got Malik was in there for 47 snaps, graded out at 93.7. And, of course, Wandale Robinson, he had a very good game. Now, you realize, I mean, even as bad as the Giants are and all that, I mean, you realize Wandale's got over 80 receptions. He's on pace, but he might grab like 85 catches. Malik Neighbors could have 105, 106, maybe somewhere around it. You realize that between the two, and Malik actually missed. I mean, thankfully, Wandale has been healthy, so he's had a healthy season. But I mean, you realize that Malik didn't miss those 2 games to concussions. You realize that between Wandale and Malik, between the 2 of them, I said once again, if Malik didn't miss those 2 with a concussion, those 2 might have a total of 200 receptions between the 2 of them. You realize that? Of course, they're only averaging like 7-8 yards of reception or whatever, 9. I mean, not a lot. I mean, but might have almost 200 receptions between those 2 guys. I mean, wow. All right. So Wandale was 89.6. He almost had a 90. I said Chris Manhertz was 81.6. Drew Lock, obviously, he had a fantastic game, 78.3. Help protect the ball, which is huge, right? Joshua Zuda was in there for 9 snaps, 75.1. It was all run blocking now, right? Run blocking. Devin Singletary, 15 snaps, graded at 70.9. Darius Slayton caught the 1 pass, but it was a deadly one for a touchdown. 45 snaps, graded out of 61. Eric Gray was in there for 5 snaps, graded out of 60. Greg Dulcich was in there for just 1 snap, graded out of 60. Jalen Hyatt was in there for 10 snaps, graded at 57.1. Jake Kubas, obviously all 56 snaps, right? So here's your offensive line right here, right? Kubas' run block was a 59.3. His pass block was a 51. Right? GVR was the center, graded out of 50.9. Jermaine Illuminor, left tackle, all 56 snaps, graded out 49.4. Apparently, I guess he had some issues with his run blocking. But Evan Neal, I mean, we got Aaron Stinney in there at guard, who's a backup guard. Jake Kubas in there at guard, who's a backup guard. Evan Neal, who's a tackle, who's a backup tackle. Illuminor's a starting tackle, but he's our starting right tackle playing left tackle. And then, of course, we got GVR in there, who is a starter, but he's a starting guard, and we have him playing center. It's just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, right? But I said Evan Neal was 47.1. Aaron Stinney, 43.3. Tyrone Tracy was 37 snaps, 42.1. And Daniel Bellinger was in there for 50 snaps and 41.4. So, but I mean, you can see, I mean, obviously Drew Lock did really, really well. Wando Robinson and Malik Neighbors. So we did it. We had some guys in there, obviously, had some good games, but it's just mind boggling. There's the 5 guys. Now one of them is playing. We got Jermaine Illuminor, right? Here's your starting right tackle. Got him over there, left tackle. Evan Neal, who's as a backup right tackle, starting. GVR, who is our starting right guard, got him playing center. Then you got Stinney and Kubas, who are backups. They're starting. It's like, I said, let another team out there be this discombobulated on offense, and let's see them go to a Super Bowl. They can't. It's not happening. Once again, I mean, it's just unbelievable how the Giants are just totally decimated by injuries. It's a shame. It's a shame. All right, so now let's go quickly here to the defensive side. So the defensive grades after the Giants' Week 17 win over the Colts. All right, let's see what we got here. Once again, let me share my screen. All right. So we'll go to the defensive side here. All right. Offense, scroll down, hit the defense. Bam! Okay. Look at that, Dane Belton, huh? Nice. Brian Burnsy. Mr. Banged Up himself. Kayvon had a good game, right? All right. So we start off Dane Belton, 77 snaps. Wow. A lot of snaps on defense, guys. Wow. 90.8 for Dane Belton. Brian Burns was in there for 60 snaps, 86.9. Kayvon Thibodeau, 60 snaps, 82.1. He did have himself a very, very good game. According to PFF, he had 5 total pressures. Burns, he had 6. So they did very, very well. Apparently, according to PFF, anyway, we had 19 total pressures. Elijah Chapman, right? 47 snaps, graded out of 77. Anthony Johnson Jr. was in there for 3 snaps. He graded out of 76. Booger Basham, 16 snaps, 69.1. Armon Watts, 13 snaps, graded out of 68.6. Andrew Phillips once again, can't say enough about this kiddo. Let me tell you what, 67.5. Nacho was in there for 45 snaps, graded 62.3. Darius Muasau, 77 snaps, 58.2. Elijah Garcia was in there for 32 snaps, graded out 56.8. Toman Fox, right? He came in relief maybe like Kayvon or Burnsy, right? So you always got Toman Fox coming in there. 18 snaps, grand total 18 snaps, graded out of 52. Cordell Flott was in there for 38 snaps, graded out of 48.7. Tay Banks was in there for 73 snaps, 48.3. Dory Jackson was in there for 43 snaps, 47.3. Isaiah Simmons, good to see him on the field. 9 snaps, unfortunately, 44.7. It's a shame. We brought him back, and when Shane Bone was talking about getting Isaiah Simmons in there and being like the money backer, you thought he'd be on the field for 30, 40 snaps a game, but nothing could be further from the truth. So I'm not exactly sure if Isaiah Simmons is going to be coming back for the Giants. Or if the Giants are going to want Isaiah Simmons coming back, who knows? But Jason Pinnock was in there for 72 snaps, graded out of 42.4. Jordan Riley was in there for 42 snaps, 41.3. And Ty Summers, graded out of 40.4. And he led the team. He had 8 tackles. So, and once again, I saw Ty Summers where he had I thought somebody had him 11 tackles. So it depends upon who you listen to, where you go, and all that and everything. But Ty Summers didn't grade out too well, but he did make a lot of tackles, and he's just the backup, right? I mean, we had 2 backup middle linebackers in there. Our defensive tackle, our all-pro, all-world, Sexy Dexy's not in there. and our two inside middle linebackers, right? We're not there, right? And we held Taylor decent. What was it? Like, I think he had 125 yards, but there was all backups in there, right? So you can't complain. All right, so now finally, let's go to do this real fast. The special team grades for the Giants' Week 17 win over the Colts. So usually you wind up having about like 30 guys or so on special teams, and a lot of them are graded out around a 60. Right? But, all right, so let me share the screen one more time here. And we'll go to the special teams, and we'll take it from there. All right, so all right, defense, special teams. Here we go. How many guys on special? Last week there was 29. What do we got? There's 30 this week. Okay. Now let's see, Smith. Now, isn't it weird? Where's Smith Marset? The guy takes one back to the house and he grades out as 60. Isn't that weird? His kickoff grade was an 81.9. Somehow, I have no idea. He takes one back to the house and somehow PFF grades him out overall at a 60. Don't quite understand. Some of this I really don't understand. The Toman Fox, right? He came in there on the outside linebacker, edge rusher, whatever it is, right? As a backup, right? But, so he had a bunch of snaps on defense, but 25 special team snaps. And he graded at a 78.9. Very good game. Deontay Johnson was in there for 15 snaps. He graded a 73.1. Casey Kreider is another good game for him. 10 snaps altogether, 64.8. Anthony Johnson Jr., 16 special team snaps. He graded a 61.9. Bryce Ford Wheaton, 25 special team snaps. It's nice to see he stayed healthy all season long. That's good. 61.8. Evan Neal, 7 special team snaps. He graded a 61.5. Matthew Adams, 25 special team snaps, 61.2. Jermaine Illuminor was in there for 7. Graded a 61.1. Jake Kubas and Chris Hubbard each had 7 special team snaps, and they graded a 61. Then you had a whole bunch of guys grading out of 60, right? You got Wilson, Jamie, the Scottish Hammer Gillen, Joshua Zudu, Aaron Stinney here, Art Glenn, Greg Dulcich, Darius Muasau, Isaiah Simmons, Greg Gano, and Amir Smith Marset. I still don't understand how the guy could grade out at an 81 on kickoff returns, take one back to the house, and he only grades out at a 60 overall. I don't understand that. Then there's always a bunch of guys that grade out at just under a 60. There's some that grade out just a little over 60, some grade a 60, and some grade under a 60. So Boogie Basham was in there for 1 special team snap. He graded out 59. Elijah Garcia was in there for 7 special team snaps. Chris Manhurst, 17. Elijah Chapman was in there for 7. Eric Gray was in there for 7. Nacho was in there for 6. Jordan Riley was in there for 6 special team snaps, and all those guys graded out at 59. Then your final bottom 3 is Ty Summers. Played a lot on defense, played 16 special team snaps as well. He graded out at 56. Daniel Bellinger, 17 snaps, graded at 55.3. And Dane Belton, who played a lot of defense, right? Played a lot of defense, but also played 17 special team snaps. He brought out he was 54.3 overall. Well, there's always a lot of guys on. You look at it, it's like, okay, the offense, but then you see how many guys are actually involved in the special teams, and it's rather remarkable. Rather remarkable, but I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know how they grade it or whatever, but meaning on special teams, there's always a bunch of guys right around 60. And I said, how's somebody like Amir Smith Marset, who was a special teams player of the week, I think, in the NFC, takes one back to the house and grades out at only a 60? I really don't know. Stuff don't make much sense to me. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 15 minutes. once again, happy New Year to you guys, right? Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo! Oh yeah!